What is going on, guys? It's Matt here. So, it's kind of been a while since my last equipped video on my Wild Hunter. 3.5 years, actually. A lot has happened since then. Increased Star Force, Flames, and then they fixed Flames because they were rigged, and the Golic set nerf, and probably more that I'm forgetting. But let's go over what I'm rocking now. First up, we got my equips. Of course, what everyone here is, waiting to see. I got my totems, my Hunter totem, and then my 2 Dark Avenger totems. First up, we have my reinforced Golic's ring, 12, 12, 12, 36% main pot, 12% Dex B pot with plus 16. Got my superior Golic's ring, 33% main pot, 14% B pot. We have my Breath of Divinity, 30% main pot, 16% B pot. I hope I'm doing that math right. 22 stars. Yes, everything is 22 stars. My Meister ring, 33% main pot, 12% Dex B pot with Dex per 10 plus 1. My spell book, 104 Dex, 5% all stat flame. Next up, we got my Sweetwater pendant. This is transposed from a Reaper's pendant. Flame was 24 Dex, 5 all stat. It is 33% main pot, Dex per 10 plus 3, and 6% Dex B pot. My Superior Golic's pendant, 33% Dex main pot, 14% Dex B pot, and the flame is 32 and 4. My Genesis weapon with tier 7 attack flame, tier 5 boss damage, and tier 4 all stat. 70% boss, 10% attack main pot, 23% attack, 10% Dex B pot with a magnificent Dark Knell Soul, 3% attack. My Superior Golic's belt, 36% main pot, Dex per 10 plus 2, Dex plus 16, 7% Dex B pot, flame of 32 Dex, 3 attack, 4% all stat. God damn, will people stop logging in? Next up, we have my CRA hat, 84 and 5 flame, 33% main pot, 12% Dex B pot with Dex per 10 plus 1. Next up, we have my Berserked. Yes. 84 Dex, 6 all stat, flame, 33% main pot, and the B pot is 19%. Next up, we have my Sweetwater monocle, transposed from a Papulatus mark. This is a really old transpose, or else the flame would have been a lot better. But it is transposed from 60 Dex, 7% all stat, 33% main pot, 14% Dex B pot with plus 13 attack. Next up, we have my CRA top, 80 Dex, 5% all stat flame, 30% Dex main pot, and 15% Dex B pot. Next up, we have my pants. These were cursed, okay? I recently did the B pot, and oh my god, it killed me. 84 Dex, 6% all stat flame, 30% Dex main pot with 12% Dex, 12 attack B pot. Very nice item. Next up, we have my Arcanes. Yes, I'm no longer a Sweetwater gamer. I finally have full set Arcanes. We have 126 Dex, 5% all stat, flame, 33% Dex main pot, Dex per 10 plus 4 B pot double prime with 13 attack. We got my Superior Golic's earrings, 32 Dex, 4% all stat flame, 33% Dex main pot, Dex per 10 plus 2, and 9% Dex B pot. My Arcane shoulder, it is scrolled for plus 18 attack, and I believe plus 10 Dex. 33% main pot, Dex per 10 plus 2, and 11% Dex B pot. My Arcane gloves, 168 flat Dex flame, double line crit with 13% Dex main pot, and we got 3% crit damage and 11% Dex B pot. My Maple Story Fest emblem, I tried to cube this for 3-line attack main pot. It did not work, unfortunately, but I did get it back to 21 attack, 30 IED main pot. double prime, 24% attack, B-pot. My Sengoku badge, unfortunately, is not 22 stars, but, you know, at least I have a potable badge. I guess I can say that. It's unfortunate, but scrolling, 22 attack, and I believe 14 dex. So not too bad. It's not like the full like +6 each slot, 24, but it's pretty close to that. 33% main pod, dex per 10 +2, 6% dex, 13 attack, B pod. We have my beater medal. We all know the SAO crossover event, 28 attack, 20 all stat medal, very nice. Unfortunately, I do not have the attack on Titan medal that gives crit damage, but it is what it is. I didn't really take that event too seriously back then. My secondary, Pinot secondary, got 70% boss, 9% attack main pot, 21% attack, 6% all stat on the B pot. We got my Arcane cape, 121 dex, 5 all stat flame, 33% dex main pot, and 19% dex B pot. And finally, we have my outlaw heart. I did X scroll this. It is 221 attack, 182 all stat, 33% dex main pot, dex per 10 +3, and 5% dex on the B pot. All these items, you know, one way or another have been, you know, just pretty crazy to deal with. Scrolling wise, cubing wise, yeah. The majority of my gear is primed. I guess I forgot to mention that as I go, because this isn't reboot, so things are scrolled on non-reboot. So yeah, I mean, the majority of my gear is prime scrolled. Obviously, Golix is Golix scrolled, but everything else is and has been prime scrolled. Yeah, including the bod and Meister ring. So if it's not Golix, it's been prime scrolled. X scrolling and icogging, especially icogging, is super expensive. I do not want to go down that route, but it would be the best. And then let's go over to my Arcane and Sacred Power. Max Arcane, and then my Sacred Power. I just leveled up my Cernium symbol today, so I got level 7 Cernium and level 4 Arcus, so that's a work in progress towards maxing that. Next up, we have my familiar and badges. So let's go take a look at that now. Yes, 3 legendary familiars. I have my little Mercedes with 85% boss on it, 50 and 35. My little Orchid with 9% attack and 40 boss damage. And then my little Cygnus with 50% IED, 5% attack. I was going for either this or 2-line attack on my third familiar. So it was whatever I kept, whatever I got first was basically what I was going to keep. And I'm not going to keep a 4th familiar for 2-line attack. I mean, maybe I will, in the future down the line. But yeah, legendary familiars are like, keeping familiars in general is just stupid. This is really expensive. For me, I'm happy that I got pretty lucky, at least with these 2, to tier up and get the potential lines. This one took way more than these 2 combined, actually. Like, just tearing this up took like combined of these 2, and then to get the potential, yeah, like the third one was kind of a struggle, but these 2 were fairly easy to get. In terms of my badges, I have 1% attack 3 times, and then 1% damage 3 times, and then 2 IED badges. So yeah, that's what I'm rocking. Next up, we have my V Matrix. V Matrix hasn't really changed, since my equip video and showcase 3 years ago. In terms of my boost nodes, we got Summon Jaguar, Wild Arrow Blast, and Final Attack for the first node. Second node is Hunting Assistant Unit, Exploding Arrows, and Sonic Roar. And then the third node is Drill Salvo, White Heat Rush, and Swipe. Right? Those are the boost nodes that I'm using. You can kind of like pause the video and just check what I have here, and on the second page as well. Blink, True Arachnid, and Decent Advanced Blessing, for the sake of the video. The special node is Fatal Strike, but I also use Auto Recovery. I use those interchangeably depending on the situation. So yeah. Next up, we have my hyper skills, more specifically my passive skills. I'm rocking the extra % attack for Feline Berserk, Reinforce. I have all of the Summon Jaguar passive hyper stats. because this one specifically, the cooldown cutter, got buffed from 10% to 20%. So in my opinion, it's actually worthwhile. It might have been worthwhile before, but it's more worthwhile now to be using this instead of the extra boss damage for Wild Arrow Blast. So all to summon Jaguar and then extra damage into Wild Arrow Blast. Helps both for bossing and for mobbing. Next up, we got my Link skills. Okay. For Link skills, I'm rocking Demon Slayer, Phantom, Lumi, Xenon. This is interchangeable. Demon Avenger, Kana, Cadena, Arc. My Jet Link is 34 attack, 33 dex, and 30 strength. We got Explorer, Mage, Explorer, Thief, and Beast Tamer. For the sake of this video, I'm using Xenon, and I do use it sometimes. However, I will exchange that with two other ones. I like using Angelic Buster for GPQ, and then I also like using Heil for the stance, because even though I do have a bod, bod is not completely reliable in GMS as of now, and sometimes it does break. So I like to have that 100%, you know, stance, because Wild Hunter only gets 50 off Jaguar. It has 100% on Jaguar, but you're not bossing on Jaguar. All right, next up we have my Legion. I am 8.2k on Bera. Reason being is because I only have my Wild Hunter at level 275, and then all my other characters are just 210 or below. You know, level 3 links and nothing really more after that. This is my bossing Legion. I have max critical damage, IED, and boss damage. Also, I maxed out Dex, Y Dex over attack because of the ratio, the stat difference for Dex to attack is 1 to 3, I believe. Oh no, excuse me, 1 to 5. It's not 1 to 3. It's at a ratio of 1 to 5, so the stat is just better to put in, and then a little bit of crit rate for the remaining pieces. I don't have lab server on Bera. It's on reboot, so I'm really hoping lab server does make a return. Season 2 was in TMS and it was Sickness Nights only, so if we do get a season 2 for GMS, I'm gonna put my lab server pieces on Bera instead. I do also have a training Legion. I focus on obviously extra EXP, buff duration, so I don't have to like rebuff too frequently while grinding, the crit damage, and then a little bit of extra crit rate as well. Next up, we're gonna go over my hyper stats, my stat window, and inner ability. So, in terms of hyper stats, I have 1 point into Dex, 10 points into crit rate because as an archer with Vicious Shot, which is a 5th job skill. This takes half of your crit rate and converts it into crit damage, which is great for bursts. So I do like having 10 points into crit rate, 12 points into crit damage, 11 points into IED, 12 points into damage, 13 points into boss, and 6 points into attack. Why these? I just plugged them into a calculator. You know, I used a Maple calculator, and then it told me that these are the best in slot for my situation. So that is currently what I'm rocking. I'm at 96k stat clean, range 87 mil to 102 mil. I love that you can see past the 100 mil mark now, which is amazing. I love that. In terms of my inner ability, you guys have seen it in a previous video. I got boss damage, crit rate, and increased damage to abnormal status. If I were to buff up, this is what I am currently rocking. There we go. And then pop my familiars. So self-buffed, we are at 100 mil to about 117 mil. Self-buffed. Pretty awesome. You know, 98k stat. Getting really close to that 100k stat mark. And I feel like with a few more upgrades, I'm definitely going to get there. Well, I'm definitely going to get there if I just max out my sacred symbols. But yeah, you know, at this point, it's just a waiting game. It's only a matter of time before I hit that 100k dex self-buffed. All right. And now, in terms of my future plans, right? It's like, what more can you do, right? With like, you know, like your range, you know, your gear, like what more can you do? Well, for starters, I do plan on hitting 280 on my Wild Hunter, you know, gear aside. I do want to hit at least 280 on my Wild Hunter. And then in terms of my equipment, I'm currently 2 set, right, with Pitched Boss. I do want to go 4 set for the extra critical damage. So I do want to get an eye patch, and I do want to get a Source of Suffering to make that happen. And then we are going to be getting the Guardian Slime Boss soon. So I'm probably going to replace my Meister Ring with the Guardian Slime Ring. I know I can probably replace it with an Endless Terror as well, you know, if I wanted to, but an Endless Terror is super expensive, and I'm not sure I want to go down that route just yet. So definitely Eye Patch and, you know, Source of Suffering for the 4 set, but anything after that is, you know, basically to be determined. And I mean, who knows what Nexon's going to throw at us in the near future, but, you know, just going to keep playing the game and adjust accordingly, right? Just based on what I want to do in the game at the current time. And that's basically it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's been a long time coming, you know, for this kind of video, and hope you guys, you know, liked it. I don't know, dude. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below. Special thanks to Bruni, Brandon Lee, Yo MJ, Eric Guritti, Not Chaos, Balloon, Prime Gaming, Justisu, Cultured Anime, Thick Thighs, Restored, JP, Jason Cho, Joshua Alvarez, and everyone giving me money for pizza for being members and supporting the channel. If you would like to get a shout out, click the join button down below or check out the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.